Well, howdy folks, Elcrex here, and welcome to Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 116. And today we're going to delve into another one of those clan mechs, the 85-ton Omni Mech, the Masakari, aka Warhawk. Now, if you're a clanner, it's the Warhawk, and those Inner Sphere guys call it the Masakari. Alright, this is another one of those mechs that I just dearly love and I enjoy taking to the battlefield. Every time we go out there and we're playing any type of assault mech for the clans, this is the one that's going to find itself in the lineup. Yep, this is the one I love. Alright, the Masakari is 85 tons, runs around with a 460, doesn't have jump jets as standard. You could put them on if you want to. Has 20 heat sinks doubles, so it can dissipate 40 heat, which is really good. It has 259 points of armor, which is just slightly shy of maximum. Carries around ferrofibrous armor. Alright, does not have endosteel, so I guess if I was going to choose between ferrofibrous and endosteel, I always pick endosteel. Just because that gives you more bang for your buck. That's more tonnage that you can play with. But hey, they decide to put ferrofibrous on it. What can I argue about? It has 32.5 tons of pod space. So now we're getting up in there. We're looking at mechs that have 32 tons of space to just throw weapons on and just crush your enemies under tons of firepower. It also comes standard with a targeting computer. Yes, targeting computer is built into it. So depending on how many tons you throw into the direct fire weaponry determines how much you use for your targeting computer. And that's what I love about the Masakari. It automatically has a -1 to hit targets. What's not to love about that? You throw a really good pilot into it, and you're going to be ripping things to pieces. Now, there was a game one time back when we were at Gen Con. I started off with a 12-hour session. I had a Masakari. I marched up, parked it in the heavy woods, and I didn't move it for the rest of the game. And it was the C version, which I'll tell you about in here in a little bit. But it just sat there, and I had a one-gunner. And I did not have to move. So even at extreme ranges out to 18, 20 hexes, I was hitting automatically. So I didn't have to move. I just started bang, bang, bang. And these guys were just getting ripped to pieces by this thing. So it's one of those mechs that I dearly love. And the entire game they were like, oh, we got to kill that Masakari. We got to kill that Masakari. And they kept trying to get close enough to shoot it, and we were just focus firing everybody that was coming even close to it. It was like they were so fixated on trying to kill it, and the end result was they were just dying in droves. Hey, it works. Alright, Masakari. It has the 2 XL engines in both right and left torso. It has 2 ferrofibers in the right torso along with a double heatsink. Left torso comes automatically with 2 XL engines, 4 double heatsinks, 2 ferrofibrous armor. Left and right arm each has a ferrofibrous. And you have, this is the first time in a long time, we got a double heatsink in each leg. So if it does get park itself into any type of water hex, it's going to get a little bit of benefit. Which is, yeah, I like that. Now, the primary configuration, which is one of the least favorite of mine, has 2 ERPPCs in the right arm, has a target computer in the right torso, 2 ERPPCs in the left arm, an LRM-10 in the left arm, and a ton of ammo. On paper, this seems like it's pretty much a badass mech configuration coming at 3,200 battle value. But you're looking at, look how much heat this thing will create. You're talking over 60 points of heat, and it can only dissipate, what, 40. So basically all you can do is either fire 2 PPCs and the LRM-10 each turn. So really you're lucky if you can do 40 points of damage. If you're really lucky with the hit with the LRM-10, it does maximum damage. You're better off with the other configuration, which is the Charlie, which we'll talk about here in just a second. So yeah, it's basically all it is redundancy with the it's one of those things where if you can park it, yes, if you park it, you can sit there and fire everything, fire 3 PPCs and maybe the LRM, go way up on the heat scale if you're not moving, and then the next turn you turn around and only fire the 2 PPCs and then cool back down again. So it's raise the heat, skyrocket, go back down, skyrocket, go back down. That's only if you can able to park it. Now if you're moving and everything, it's typically how I ever used one of these when I had them. It's like I'm only firing 2 PPCs and then the LRM. And it's basically you just have backup redundancies in case you lose an arm. You still got 2 more PPCs to play with. That's however I look at that one. Not a favorite of mine because you're not making maximum use of all your equipment, especially at long range. Now the Alpha configuration has an LBX-10 in the right arm with a 2 tons of ammo. It also has an LRM ton of ammo in the right arm, an LRM-15 in the right torso, target computer, 2 ER large lasers in the left arm, a Streak 6 in the left arm with a ton of ammo. This comes in at 2,400 battle value. This one is one of those that not bad. You're looking at the heat isn't all that drastic because you're looking at 24, 28, 30, yeah, 35. So most you're ever going to do is around 30, 36, 37. So it runs cool. It's not have to worry about it. And it's one of those configurations, if you get in close, a little closer with the where you're in streak range, you can start maximizing full effort. So this one here coming in at 2,400 battle value is pretty decent. It's something that you can use to your advantage. You're not leaving any weapon systems behind when you're in range. So nothing really to complain about. You got a couple long range ER large lasers in that LRM. Yeah, so you can, when you get around 21 hexes, yeah, you can start pumping out 35 points of damage. So basically you're almost doing almost the same amount of damage as the primary configuration without worrying about the heat. So, and then when you do get in close, then you got cluster munitions with the LBX cannon, and you have that Streak 6. So if there is armor holes in the mech, then you can go crit hunting pretty easy with this mech. That's one nice thing about it. And then you have with the LBX and the 2 large lasers, you do have direct fire weaponry, so you can take advantage of the target computer with that. Alright, the Bravo version. Alright, so we got 3 ER medium lasers in the right arm. We got 5 tons of SRM ammo in the right arm. We got a target computer in the right torso, 2 SRM-6s in the right torso, a Gauss rifle with 2 tons of ammo, and ER small laser in the left arm, a NARC beacon, and a ton of ammo. Alright, so we basically are running around with 3 tons of ammunition for 2 SRM-6s, and I think you've been better off with just 2 of them. But let's just see, we got 3.5 plus, that explains it. Yeah, you're running around 15 tons of, so that's 3 tons that go into the target computer just because of the Gauss rifle. It's not a bad deal. In a way, though, would think that with the amount of energy this puts out, not really a lot of heat, so you're looking at 15 plus 8, 23, 24. Yeah, it's hardly any heat. So you're better off. Personally, I think instead of having the Gauss rifle, you'd been better off having a couple PPCs or large pulse lasers or something of that nature, putting a little bit more firepower. And if you have the heat sinks already pre-built into this thing, you might as well take advantage of it. And that's why, if you got that many, use energy weapons. You know, the clans have these wonderful ERPPCs that are doing the same amount of damage as a Gauss rifle. And bang for your buck, especially when you already have the heat sinks already installed on it that are already fixed. Use them. Make use of them. Or even 2 large pulse lasers for that matter. Or some ER large lasers and throw some that extra ton someplace else into something else. And that's just my thought process. But it is still a good mech when it comes to dishing out some good damage. When you get into range with the SRMs, then you can hit them with a narc beacon, and then your follow-on shots for everybody are going to have some bonus with that narc beacon. But you're throwing a lot of weight in behind a lot of ammo when it comes to those standard 2 SRMs. Yeah, they're only a ton and a half each. Yeah, I would, if you're going to put that much effort into SRMs, well, maybe just go with a whole bunch of them or something. I don't know. So it's not one of my favorite configurations. Now, here we go. The Charlie configuration. And I'll talk about my derivation of this in a second here, too. Charlie has 2 large pulse lasers in the right arm, a double heat sink in the right arm, a target computer in the right torso, 2 ER PPCs in the left arm, and 2 more double heat sinks in the left arm, and a flamer. Hey, if you got infantry coming your way, you got a flamer to deal with them. Hey, what's not to love about that? Barbecue. You got crunchies on the Barbie. Alright, so this one still is a little hot. Alright, so you got 2 PPCs and 2 large pulse lasers. So you're looking at 50 heat that you crank out, and you got 3 more double heat sinks. So you're now have 23. So you can dissipate 46. Now, if you can park this thing in, say, a heavy wood hex or something of that nature, where you can take care of not moving, that works out pretty good, because you can fire the 2 PPCs and 2 large. That's 50. You're going up 4 in the heat if you don't move. All right, you can do that for a turn, and then the next turn you turn around and not fire maybe one of the pulse lasers or a PPC, however you want to do it. It's up to you. And then next turn you can go back and fire. It's like you fire 4 and then 3 weapons, 4 and 3 weapons. So you heat up, cool off, heat up, cool off type of deal. So if you had to move the next turn, you don't necessarily have to worry about it too much. And this thing can dish out some decent damage. Yeah, so you're looking at 50 points of damage. If you get hit with 50 points of damage, you're going to know it. You're going to feel it. And there have been many games, like I said, there was one game at Gen Con where I was doing that, was pumping out 50, 40, 50, 40, 50, 40 type of deal. And just crunch, 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 crunch. And guys were just like, oh my gosh, we got to kill this thing. And the first session, by the time they realized what was hitting them and doing all this damage, you know, because mechs were just disappearing up. They didn't really notice that I was always the guy that fired my mech first, because I was doing the largest chunks of damage off a mech. And then with the best gunnery, the guy would have, let's say, a medium or a light mech come flying around the corner. I was like, boom, drop him. It was you take a 20-ton dasher, he got hit with 50 points of damage. I just cored him right out. It's like center torso, there's 30, done. done dinner. And then some other guys tossed some stuff in there just for shits and giggles. And it was just massacring mechs right and left. Now, my derivation on this, which I like to do as my personal, if I'm going to design a Masakari myself, we're going to downsize one of those PPCs in favor of another pulse laser. So, okay, so now you're looking at 30, 45. Aha, so I can walk with only, not worry about heat, and if I run, hey, there we go. So, it's one of those things where, yeah, I'm doing 45 points of damage. It's 5 less than the standard, configuration of the C. But I feel like I'm doing more damage on a regular basis. Plus, I automatically have a -3. If you got a good pilot in this thing, it is a wonder drug type of thing, where individuals are not going to be liking facing that. And there's also another one where you can just go for 4 large pulses and forego. So you're only doing 40 points of damage, but you can downsize a couple of those heat sinks, so you get rid of 2 of them, then you can put on like ECM and another ER medium laser or something of that nature to balance out some of that heat. Yeah, you're dissipating 42, but when it comes to clans, having a little bit of ECM never hurts, because you get a lot of them. They have the Artemis on there, or else if you're facing inner sphere, by God, if you're facing somebody who has a C3 network, never hurts to say, oh yeah, that's your spotter mech. I'm gonna just get up there close with them, a little bit ECM, and then shut down your network with your long range spotter. So you just have to use the next closest guy. Kind of hurts them a little bit. Alright, Delta configuration has an Ultra 10 autocannon in the right arm with 2 tons of ammo, 2 ER large lasers in the right torso, target computer in the right torso, an ATM-9 in the left arm with 3 tons of ammo, and an ER small laser in the center torso. 2,500 battle value. Okay, that is not a bad one either. Yeah, if you double pump and you're able to get both of those AC-10 shots hit, and you can do 20, then you got the 2 ER larges, so there's another 20 points possible. So this thing could do 40 damage just right there. So that you're looking at 24, 20, 26, 30. Yeah, this one runs really cool. With the ATM-9, you got some extended range, especially with those 2 large lasers in that ATM-9, so you can hit targets way out to longer ranges. Yeah, the ATM-9 at the longest range, extended range, yeah, it's basically a plinker weapon. Okay, and then when you get in a little closer, you're looking at a little bit more better damage with the 2-point shots, and if they get in close, then you're doing the 3-point shots. So damage progressively goes up. It's not a bad one. This is a really good long-range sniper also, with those large lasers. I can see myself using this one. Personally, I haven't seen it or used it, because I'm typically, if I'm running my own Masakari, I'm running the C version, or the derivation of that one myself. So that might be something I might have to try in the future, is run that one, just see how it works out pretty good. Now the Echo is got an ER PPC in the right arm, a large pulse laser in the right arm, target computer in the right torso, 3 plasma cannons in the left arm with 4 tons of ammo, and an SRM-6 just for a little bit of backup in the left arm. I don't know why they don't put it in the left torso where the launcher usually is, but hey, that's just whatever. This one is another one you don't have to worry too much about all the heat that goes with it. You can dissipate a fair amount of it, and you're going to do some good work with it. If you do hit with it, it comes in at around 2,900 battle value. And these mechs are getting kind of expensive comparatively when you think about how much you look at some of the other ones that are in the 1,600 value. Let's just go back one. We're looking at the Man of War, the Gargoyle. Yeah, that's got some 1900s, 2500. So really, battle value isn't all that different from some of the other ones that we're facing. Mostly because the speed is decreased. H version has 2 large pulse lasers in the right arm and LRM-10 in the right arm with a ton of ammo. We got 2 more double heat sinks in the right arm and the right torso, target computer right torso. 2 heavy large lasers in the left arm and 2 more double heat sinks in the left arm and center torso. And this comes in at 2,600 value. Well, let's see, we got 20. Yep, this one's going to be running. This one can run slightly hot, but with, you got an extra 4, so you're just paying 48. So it really, I guess that isn't so bad. It's just that LRM might be the big difference. So it's one of those ones where you're going to have to figure out if you're going to fire how many weapon systems you're going to be firing, because you could go up some with it. It's one of those ones where it's like one of the other ones. If you can find a nice place to park one of these, they make a great fire support base. So if you're just sitting there banging out shots, and it's like, fire these, and I can cool off a little bit by firing these, bang, 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 bang. And then if you're with a good gunner, once again, why not? We're talking a pretty decent mech. You might as well put some backup, because you got the target computer and everything else with that. So if you got some pulse lasers or large lasers or PPCs, you might as well put a decent gunner in there, take a good advantage of it. And that's pretty much how I look at that one. So that's everything with the Masakari. A little bit of history about it. It was put together by the, what is it? Drawing a blank here all of a sudden. Was it Jaguars? Yeah. So it was well, finds its way into the other clans and everything. Typically, it's like you look at the 2 that I have. One's in green, one's in brown. So it's like one of those. That's going to be for the Jade Falcons. It's not the bright. Back in the day, the bright green wasn't a thing, but typically it's either camouflage, wolf, or that's my wolf colors right there. But overall, it's a mech that I enjoy. Typically, how I always use it is I always try to find a good fire base with this thing. If you find some decent heavy woods to park it in, or behind a hill, or get some partial cover of that nature, it can do wonders for you. Typically, they have at least 1 or 2 good long-range weapon systems on it that do some serious damage, and you can just park it back there and turn it into a fire base. And if you have to move up, it's the 4.6. It can move up fairly quickly if you have to, and it can get there pretty quickly. So nothing to sneeze at. It's a good one, with that 3,200 pod space, or 32 tons of pod space. It's good. It does the job. And I always like to throw it into, if I got an assault star, or even and make it, if I got a heavy star, I might throw one of them in just as like a star commander. So you got some other ones. This is your fire support with it, direct fire support. And if it has to go in and start tearing things up, it can still do that too. All right, so that's everything with the Masakari in a nutshell. If you haven't ever tried it, take her out, give her a spin. You wouldn't be disappointed. It is a very good mech. And it's the epitome, the first time we're seeing in the roundup of a good assault mech. Yeah, we had the gargoyle the last time. That's more of a, I call it a recon assault or a scout assault. This is an assault mech. Alright. Hope you guys like this one. Like and share. Share it with your friends. Tell everybody about it. And we will talk with you later. Hellcracks out.